everybody, and welcome back to Nerds That Know. Tonight we have a special guest, teeny tiny soulless wonder, and husband, and we'll be talking about Buffy the high school years. Now, one of the many fabulous reasons that we are doing this is because up until last month, husband had never watched Buffy.
I'd never seen, other than the movie, I'd never seen any of it.
You know?
Unacceptable.
Until last month, the best thing about Buffy the Vampire Slayer was the death of, I can't remember. Pee Wee Herman. Yeah.
Well, that's
in
acceptable.
The movie. Yeah. Until last month, that's all. That I knew that was the most important thing that happened in Buffy was Pee Wee Herman's death, which is the best death in cinematic history. But anyways, carry on.
It's all right. We're actually gonna get there. But the tiny soulless wonder is a huge Buffy fan.
Sunnydale High.
No. Actually, husband is also wearing a Buffy shirt.
Dingoes ate my baby. Live at the Bronx, Sunnydale, California.
Here's the funny thing. When I gave him that shirt, he didn't understand it, so I had to explain that was Oz's band.
Yeah, I knew Oz had a band. I had no idea what the name of it.
Do you think it was a Seinfeld reference?
I didn't. I was like, cool. I was like, the Bronx. That's a cool band. Like, that's Oz's band. Oh, cool. We like Oz. He's one of my favorite characters.
All right. So since husband has already brought it up, we're gonna go ahead and start with the terrible question: Buffy the TV show versus Buffy the movie, both by Joss Whedon. Thoughts?
Well, there's a 5-year difference because the movie was in 92.
Mm-hmm.
And season 1 started in 97.
Correct.
So, I don't know. Sarah Michelle Gellar is my heart.
100%.
But you get Pee Wee Herman. You get Donald Sutherland. You get Luke Perry. I mean, there's a lot of great things about the movie.
You also get the spandex pants with the cheerleading uniforms.
Well, there is that. I mean, but there are, as Xander would say, ooh, stretchy. Because Cordelia does wear the spandex when she auditions for cheerleader.
Which is one of the things we'll discuss.
So the movie does have its merits, but it's a TV show.
Yeah.
So there's 4 years of high school, right, for Buffy?
3.
And 3, right? It's because it's technically her freshman year.
Her sophomore year is when we start in the TV
right,
show.
But
Flashback to
in the movie, do they actually ever say that it's her freshman year?
No, in the movie, it's her senior year.
Right, yes. Exactly. And that's what I'm getting to, is there's a massive discontinuity with the fact that they, like, for the first, and even into seasons 2 and 3, reference her back in the others, and even into season 4. The entire time that we are in Sunnydale High, they reference back to her previous life, where she was already a senior in high school. And so for me, I was just like, time out. How can you guys keep referencing that discontinuity? And it's just like they just never get over that. And it just fascinates me that she destroys the school in the movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly she's a freshman in high school again. But everyone remembers that whatever. The point is,
she was a freshman in LA, and she had to move to Sunnydale.
But she wasn't a freshman.
Destroyed the school.
But she wasn't a freshman until the show started.
She also wasn't 35.
But they also reference it like 17 times in the show. Like, why do you keep bringing up the one thing that's like, it's the biggest loophole in the entire story is the fact that she was a senior and then she became a sophomore. You know, that she transferred schools, but she was the prom queen at one point, right? Basically,
yeah.
Yes.
Fiesta queen,
whatever. But it was prom. And that's when the first school got destroyed,
But
right?
Joss Whedon also, in many an interview, has said the movie was standalone. It doesn't have anything to do with the series. But
They reference it all the time.
Here's the
They
thing.
reference it almost every episode
So
for 2.5 seasons.
It's really interesting because, so like I said, Joss Whedon did both,
Yes.
right? And when he was like, hey, I feel like taking this concept and turning it into a TV show, everybody was like, that's never going to work. It's going to be complete crap. When Sarah Michelle Gellar was cast in the role of Buffy, she actually got like condolence letters. And
she
like,
also auditioned to be Cordelia.
yes. But she got all of this like mail and flowers and whatever. Like, I'm so sorry that this is going to be like a big part of your, like when you were starting your career, blah, blah, blah. Because they were like, this is never going to work. It's going to fail. And you're never going to be anything other than this idiot. And look at where she is now.
Right. She's one of the biggest, or was. And, honestly, like to a lot of us, she's one of the biggest stars on the planet. She hasn't been anything in like 15 years or so. But
Incorrect.
she hasn't been in much lately.
You said anything. She was in something.
When?
Like this past year, she was in it's the new Dexter reboot.
TV show. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give you that. But she hasn't been around much. But my point is she hasn't been around much, but she is still like, if anybody, you walk in a room and say Sarah Michelle Gellar, people of a certain age know who she is. Like I hadn't even watched the show until a month ago, and I liked Sarah Michelle Gellar because she was a giant phenomenon, for a lot of us.
Yes.
All right. Well, now that we've started off, let's go ahead and we're just again going with season 1, right? And I'm going to start off with each of the cast members, each of the characters. We're not going to get into the actors and all of their history.
Okay.
Because one of the things that Buffy brought into a discussion was another episode that we're going to be doing in the next little while. And that is terrible characters who are important to the plot.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And now these aren't just like characters you love to hate. Like, Cersei Lannister. She's a character you love to hate, but you want her in the show because she's fun to hate.
Yes.
Right?
However.
But the character that is just complete crap and total garbage, but is necessary to the story.
Yes. Joffrey Lannister is the prime example of this character.
But the reason this whole topic came up is because of
Dawn Summers.
Dawn Summers.
No, he doesn't know who Dawn Summers is yet.
No, I haven't
That's
met
fair.
her yet. But
R.I.P.
season 1.
Michelle Trachtenberg.
No, keep it in the family.
Yeah.
Keep it in the
but
family.
we are
now.
keeping it in the family.
Yeah.
Who is it, love?
I can't.
Joyce.
Joyce. Yeah, Joyce Summers is the
Fair
worst
enough.
character in the show for 4 seasons. She is literally the worst character in the show. She gets mad, and we're flashing forward a little bit because you just said we're sticking with strictly season 1. But she gets mad at her daughter after she's like, "Get the fuck out of here, you stupid tramp!" And then her daughter gets out. Well, either way, she wanted us to stick with season 1, and I'm not doing that. This is my point.
Season 1. I said high school years.
No,
Yeah.
you did say season 1, sticking with season 1.
Whatever.
But the
Continue.
point is, she tells her daughter to GTFO and then gets mad at her daughter when she GTFOs, and then blames consistently gaslights Buffy and blames everybody else around her for her terrible parenting, where she doesn't even understand what's going on. Like, her daughter is out at all nights, all hours of the night, and she doesn't give a fuck until something's in her backyard or something. She is the worst parent. You have to have her because she's a minor without her, and she does kind of advance the story. It's like you can't just have no parents for Buffy, and I don't think her dad is a compelling enough character to keep around in the show.
That's an accurate statement. I do need to know what season episode you are on currently.
What did I just watch?
You just watched Thanksgiving.
I just got through Thanksgiving. and
Freshman
then,
year of college, Thanksgiving.
So
Okay.
Thanksgiving, and then the episode where Buffy and Spike get married or try to get married.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
yes.
till death
Okay.
do us part or whatever. That
Yep.
that was were the last 2 episodes I watched, and then I had to take a break.
Yeah. Okay. Something blue. Okay. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I had to take a break after that one because that was
Well,
It's
what
okay
comes next?
because you know what we started after that.
Supernatural.
we did start Supernatural. That is true, and I'm enjoying Supernatural. It's a fun show.
We'll be covering
There's some-
Supernatural as well,
Yeah.
also with the Tiny Soulless
Yeah.
Wonder.
So you guys have to understand, I didn't watch a lot of TV for a while, so I'm catching up on it all. But I'm viewing it through today's viewpoint, in addition to through the viewpoint of I was there when it happened, because I'm rewatching it today. So there's going to be some okay, that's a little cringe, but I'm also going to be like, that's okay because it was the '90s. But there's a lot of cringe that needs to be covered in a lot of this stuff too,
Right, and
like
it
the
also
terrible parenting of Joyce Summers.
Oh, wait till you get to John and Mary Winchester. That's a whole other thing, but it's
We'll get there.
Yep.
We'll have a whole nother episode just on TV parents.
I would really like to get into these cookies, so there we go.
I bought snickerdoodles
the
because
best
I've been
kind.
working too much to bake. Okay, so while we're talking characters, we've already discussed how Joyce Summers is crap.
She's the worst.
All right, let's go to the next person on the list that husband hates almost as much, but not quite. And you're going to want to poke him with a stick. Mark?
Xander.
How dare you?
Fuck that guy.
Why?
Because fuck that guy. He is a whiny ignoramus. He's an idiot. He can't even go to college. You don't get to that till later. But he's an idiot. And all he does is fucking whine. Granted, he is fantastic at whining and his one-liners are really good, but he is a whiny little bitch. He is fucking really whiny. And for someone who's supposed to have army training, almost never uses it.
That was like one episode.
But he references it several times after that. He still has the capability to do that,
But
and
he
almost
didn't
never
have
does.
it before then.
But doesn't ever use it after. He does not become a more useful mammal to Buffy after he becomes the soldier.
The only useful mammal in the world is my brother Vance. That's actually his name in my phone, is
Okay.
useful mammal.
But to my point, he is decidedly useless and tells everybody that all the fucking time. And we're like, yeah, we get it, bro. And then he's got his heart set on, he's way overshooting his shot. And then he gets into a relationship with someone he hates. And this is consistent for Xander.
But
He
who
dates who he hates.
doesn't get in a relationship at some point in high school with someone that they hate?
Me? I don't know.
What? Isn't that like a coming of age type of situation?
You date somebody you don't like? That's weird.
I dated somebody I
know.
didn't like. I mean, it was my freshman year, but it was more of like, hey, I'm new to this school. Somebody asked me out. I don't want to be that new girl, so sure, I'll be, Jerkwad's girlfriend.
Yeah.
It only
Okay.
lasted 2 weeks
So,
until the guy I actually liked
let's-
asked me out. And then I had to break up with the first
So-
boy and then tell the other boy I couldn't say yes to him until Monday because I
Enough-
had to give it at least 2 days.
Enough of that. We need to get back to Xander and how bad of a character he is.
Okay,
So how many
continue.
people does he have some kind of romantic relationship with in the first 4 years of the show?
Okay.
Let's go through them
So-
all.
Season
All right.
1,
So, season 1, you have the teacher,
the teacher,
right? The
Right.
praying mantis.
praying mantis.
Right.
He
Terrible.
gets trapped in a cage underground with the douchey guy.
Highly illegal and terrible. Anyways, carry on.
Right?
What's the next one?
Then you have Cordelia.
Also a terrible batch.
Then you have Willow while he's cheating on Cordelia.
And he knows that she is with Oz, and they are both cheating on each other with each other. Terrible.
That is
Terrible, terrible, terrible.
that is terrible.
And then you get into Anya. But
And
that's pretty much it.
she, in the high school years, is awful.
Oh, she doesn't get
Especially to
Cordelia
better.
or
No,
Anya?
Anya.
Oh yes, Anya.
But she is decidedly just an awful human being, right? Like that's her whole point.
That's the
But-
whole
Right,
point.
but she's stuck as a human, which makes her an awful human being. My point is valid.
She's
I'm
20 years
100.
old. Just give her a beer.
That's fine, but still, she is not very good at being a human. So he dates horrible humans, and he knows this and bitches about it.
Oh wait, I forgot about the Inca mummy woman.
Well, no. Oh, yes.
That was high school, right?
That was high school.
Okay, do we think that that was a good human?
No.
Okay,
And,
okay.
However,
What?
I don't think that Cordelia is a horrible human.
Okay.
She is a mean girl, yes, but I think she has good qualities, and she does want to help the Scooby Gang out, begrudgingly at first, but she is a bit useful at some point.
Is the relationship with Xander and Cordelia a good functioning relationship?
When they're hiding, no. But when everybody knows,
Right, like to the point where even her friends have to like accept Xander.
Yeah, right. But then what happens?
well, she falls through the stairs and gets impaled. But that was at the point when, Xander and Willow were cheating.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, okay.
So he was a terrible human being to the only person that was actually being a decent human being to him.
So let's
Okay.
get into Cordelia.
All right. Yeah, let's talk about Cordy.
Right?
Little Cordy action. I don't mind Cordy. I mean, she is who she is. Like you said, she's a mean girl. She's she gets a little bit overbearing when she's just like annoying Giles. When Giles is like doing something important, she just walks in and is just like, "Pay attention to me." And Giles is just like, "Okay, that's enough." And then she has the thing with the teacher, which
He's not a teacher, he's a watcher.
Yeah.
Very big difference.
okay, an older gentleman.
Well, that just sounds creepy.
That's the whole point. That's my point.
We don't know how old he is.
Yeah, but how old is Cordelia when this is happening?
18.
18.
Was she actually 18?
Yes, because
Okay, that
at
was
one
it,
point
yeah.
Giles even says she's
She is
18. Stop being a pansy ass.
Yeah, right.
And go for it, man.
Mm-hmm. So, but decidedly older gentlemen, and they have such a tough time getting it off together because they just are both terrible communicators.
Well,
And I
it's
can't
also
remember the
very
name of that
awkward.
character, but I was very
It's Wesley Wyndham Price.
thank you, and I'm glad he's going.
Until you
Okay.
have to watch Angel.
All right,
I've been
so
told there's one episode of Angel I have to watch, and I
Two.
can't remember. Was there two?
yeah, he's just talking right now about crossovers.
Okay.
To continue
Oh
on.
yeah.
To continue on
Yes.
with the same episode that
Yeah,
you just finished in Buffy.
Oh, yes.
I have heard that the other end of what I just finished with Buffy is a pretty good episode.
It is. Yes.
Okay, so Angel. Now, this is Angel, not Angelus. There's a difference between the two characters.
Okay.
And this will also depend on how hard I poke you with the stick.
And Jealous is a better character than Angel is. He has more depth. He has more meaning. I love the actor. I think he's a fabulous actor. I love him in almost everything. But as Angel, I am so over the broody dark type. I am so over the broody dark type. He is nothing if not just like, woe is me all the time. And like, I get it. That's the trope. But like, literally, we just did this with the 80s and stuff. Like, all of these were still a thing. And like, it is okay to be dark and mysterious and stuff and not be broody.
Okay, let's talk about the.
It's okay to be light and be dark and mysterious.
All right. Well, on that note, Oz.
As much as I think that there's no depth to what Angel does as a character, and what Angelus does is much bigger and better, I think Oz is awesome. He is very much one of the two most real characters in the show.
I love the way he talks about animal crackers.
I love the way he talks about everything. It's just
Look at
such.
those monkey
There's
the monkey's French. All monkeys are French.
There's so much that happens conversationally that fits in like normal conversation. The way Joss Whedon writes his stuff, like there's so much that it's just conversational. Whereas like a lot of TV tropes get to where it's like, I'm going to tell you something and there's an answer. And there's very much not that. It's like, there's a back and forth and a dialogue and you get those characters and stuff like, and I really enjoy that. I like Oz's dialogue, and it's just like what you guys are talking about. He's just, and it's sharp and it's witty and it's everything Seth Green is, and you know how much I love Seth Green.
Who
For those of you who
wouldn't
don't know,
love a 5'3" ginger
yeah, Seth Green is the man.
You're 5'3".
in heels,
Okay, thank
How
you.
big are the heels, though?
4 inches.
just for posterity, I had to get that one out.
You can't be this tiny and have a soul.
No,
It won't fit.
right. Which is why the
Tiny
ginger
soul
just happens.
wonder.
That's why
That's
the
why
ginger
that's
just
going to be your handle now whenever you're on the shows.
I love it.
I like that one.
He
I
was
like that
not
a lot.
given notice of the name that I had created.
I was not. I walked in. I was handed a glass of prosecco, and there were some tiny cheeseburgers,
Yeah.
and now there's cookies
They're still tiny.
and a
cheeseburgers.
stick that I get to take home and cover with glitter.
I'm very excited about the glitter stick. You
But-
think spirit sticks are cool? Okay, maybe only I do because I was a cheerleader. This is going to be way cooler.
But Oz is one of my 2 favorite characters in the show.
Okay.
2.
One of the 2 favorite.
All right.
characters in the show.
Now let's go ahead and jump. While we're talking about Oz, let's go to Willow.
Who is my favorite character in the show?
I mean, why wouldn't she be?
The first season, you are Willow, right? Like, there's all this mystical shit happening and all these things that are like way out of the normal, and you're just like sitting back watching it, and she's reacting in real time with you as it's happening. And from that moment, I fell in love with her as the character. Like, she's just like, oh, and she's just like, pops off with something that, somebody would have said that, and it's just like, all right, I can get along with that. And then shitty stuff keeps happening to her. The shittiest. And yeah, there's the whole, like, she was a willing participant in the her and Xander thing that happened and kept happening.
But she had been in love with Xander since they were
Yeah,
5.
She has been in love with Xander for, at this point, 13
And
years.
You don't know yet, but there's a yellow crayon, and it's a beautiful thing. You'll find out. You'll cry.
But
I want it filmed.
And I do know that her character has a story arc because it's a very famous story arc in in TV land. Like,
Every time something happens,
it's like,
every
is this
time
when
something
Willow?
happens, is this what makes Willow gay?
Is this when Willow gives up?
Is this when Willow gives up the dick?
Is this when she puts down the D?
Anytime something happens with her and
Like,
any other character,
or like something
doesn't
bad happens, she's like, oh, this is why she doesn't like penis anymore.
it's all like, oh hey, Willow was given an apple with her lunch. That's why she wants breasts.
Wait, so in season 1, when she's eating raisins at the Bronze,
Yeah,
that's a
You already know.
euphemism for wanting breasts?
When she has a cheese stick in her lunch.
Because she recorded the TV show and they
She's-
refer to her as Old Yeller, and she's, no, that's a dog. Oh, I mean, the geyser? What?
no, she's a
That's not
fantastic.
good geyser person.
I love Willow. She's my favorite. Like, everything about her is just awesome.
Right.
And then she becomes the witch, which I know both of you guys emanate with very much.
I love Willow.
Yeah.
I have spells written right here. I have shapes that she writes in journals drawn in my little book here.
Okay. Drusilla.
I don't mind her. Like, I get her. I thought that she was fascinating. She's an important piece of the story between why there's so much hostility between Spike and Angel. And if you don't have Drusilla, none of the rest of that shit makes sense.
I mean, it also plays a big part in why Angel loses his soul.
Right. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And why he gets a soul in the first place.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. And this is all part of it. But that, it's that she's been tortured to the point where she's a psychopath now. And
But she has pretty nails.
she has really,
Like,
and I think she's just fascinating. Like, when she's just like baby talking her way through murders and stuff, I'm just like, oh, this is everything that Harley Quinn wanted to be. This is exactly what Harley Quinn should be. It's not the other thing that was in the movies with Bird of Prey and stuff like. This is what it should be. It's creepy. It's weird. You like it because it's like, okay, I'm very attracted to what is going to cause great danger to me immediately, and I know this. But she's sweet talking me into it, you know.
Yeah, and she straight up just assassinates a Slayer with her fingernails.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Drew's awesome. I really enjoy Drew.
Okay. Now, Mark has gotten to the point in Buffy's freshman year of college where Spike has been neutered.
Mhm.
Right? But let's talk high school years. Spike.
Pre-neutering.
Yes. William the Bloody.
I do like Spike quite a bit. I just like the actor, you know, and for obvious reasons. There's other things that he's been in that I think is just brilliant. But
I have so much to say about him. He's amazing. I've gotten to meet him. He's so lovely.
his shit in Torchwood is fucking unbelievable.
Dude, the number
Holy
of things
fuck.
that have happened in my pants thinking about when James Masterson and John Bowerman start making out.
Yeah.
Holy.
Yeah. That's a whole thing in Torchwood. And so like that's my frame of reference. And then I go back to see Spike now instead of what I saw in that, which was like, whew. And then I see this, and I'm like, all right, I get it. He sucks at killing Slayers. He's really bad at it. Really
he's
fucking
not.
bad at it.
Well,
He's bad at killing this Slayer.
Yes.
Yes.
He's really bad at killing this Slayer. But he's tremendously good at talking shit to very powerful people. And it's really good to see. Like, he's just like the cool guy with the leather jacket that like chews gums. Like, yeah, it's like he's Billy Idol. You know, it's basically his
Yeah,
character. It's 100% his
Billy
character.
Idol took his look from Spike.
Billy Idol predated Spike by about a decade, but it's okay. It's okay. We won. You know,
So
1991 Billy Idol was like the 70s and 80s. You know,
he doesn't
famous
know
in the
that yet.
80s, but came up in the 70s.
So one of the fabulous fun trivia facts that I just like to throw around about James Marston is his British accent he got by watching Monty Python.
Yes, because he was originally gonna have like deep South, like Texas accent.
Is what they wanted him to have, and he
And
was
it's
like, no.
But I
want
like
dirty
his choice.
Cockney.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's terrible, but I love it.
Yeah.
It's a really bad accent, but I really like it.
I mean, it's better than
Dick Van
Dick
Dyke.
Van Dyke.
well, and David Boreanaz is Irish because
Oh
the
god,
shade
his
is
Irish
good.
is so
There
bad.
was that whole thing where it's like, baby, we may have to skip this one. He's like, he didn't even try. He just was talking with the Irish like dialect in English. He wasn't even doing an accent. He was just talking like this with his words. And that's how he spoke every sentence. He wasn't actually doing an Irish accent. He was just talking like this. And it's not an Irish accent, dude. You're just doing this with your voice. You're just speaking all of your sentences just like this. And he did it through the entire episode. That was his Irish accent. I'm like, you didn't even like roll an R or anything. Bro, you read that off of a box of Lucky Charms, man.
Hey, you know what? He is magically delicious.
I would not
And
say no to
again-
that rainbow.
And again, love the actor. Just yeah, Irish Angel was not great.
All right, I only have 3 characters left for the primaries to talk about in the first 3 seasons. Now we're gonna get into the other Slayers. We're gonna get into the villains, but we're also going to talk about Miss Calendar, who is very important to
The plot.
especially season 2.
Yeah.
Right. So I appreciate Miss Calendar for the humanity she brings to Giles.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Anything
She also
else?
has cute outfits.
Yeah.
She also has the good one-lines.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't call what she does the one-liners because they're not like, you know, bazinga funny, but they're just like, oh, so you caught that.
Yeah, she's got the good jabs. She's really good for Giles to, like you said, make him a real character, like bring his humanity to it, where he was kind of the awkward librarian, but he was just always kind of just stoic and stuff. And this made him more the awkward librarian, which is more of the Giles I like, is just like kind of fun, like weird and funky and just out of place all the time, And I love that about Giles, like the smartest guy in the room, but doesn't need to be in the room, It's just doesn't fit in anywhere. And I love that about Giles. But she does bring that into him, make him, you get to see a glimpse of happiness there, which you get to see sparks of later, which is good, but you don't see it before that. And what she does is pretty terrible. Objectively terrible. And then she dies an awful, awful, awful death.
I'm fairly certain that was the first episode of TV that I actually cried. And it wasn't necessarily Miss Calendar's death. It was the end of the episode when Joyce hands the phone to Buffy, who then hands it to Willow.
Yeah.
And that sound/wail that Willow makes.
Yeah, that one got me.
And then she falls to the ground.
Yeah.
Like, it hurts my soul. And that was just such a beautiful moment of TV. And Passions is actually, I think, my favorite episode of season 2. It's so dark and so terrible, but there's so much brilliance in everything that every character brings to that episode. It makes you feel all the things because you're like, well, Angelus is really hot, but I'm a 16-year-old girl and I don't know how I'm supposed to feel. And then, oh, wait, he kills a woman and now my mentor is literally murderous and wants to set him on fire.
Mm-hmm.
But I should be sad, but I'm also like filled with rage. And I also want to set things on fire.
It was also just kind of fitting that, like, of all of the semi-major characters in this story arc, her story ended the way it did because of she brought that on herself, basically. She did 100% did that to herself. And it's so fitting that that's the way it happened. I think it sucks she didn't get a complete character arc, but I did like the way that was written because it was like, okay, she kind of deserved that, a little bit. Because there's your comeuppance. I feel like she had a lot of comeuppance. She was starting to get better, and then it was like, wham! Not everyone gets a happy ending, and I liked that part of it. It was like, okay, she did a shitty thing, and not everybody gets a happy ending, and that's okay.
Yeah,
that's
and
what it's all about.
The episode before, when Buffy walks in the classroom and just grabs her by the throat and slams her on the desk.
Yeah. And you see throughout that episode, like things are starting to get better, and then it's like, nope, we're not going to make that happen. Like, it was brilliantly written, and then she gets taken away from it. It's like, I guess that fits.
Yeah.
I like the way it was done.
All right. Let's go a little bit about Giles.
Okay, Giles is me. I'm Giles.
That's really disturbing for me.
I mean, this not trying to, working around a bunch of idiots. And I love my coworkers, but they're all dumb. And they have been. And even like my previous jobs, like I've always kind of been the smartest person that I work around. And so sometimes it's just like you have to just
I don't know
quiet.
if you're offended by that, but
I've been saying work.
I've never worked with him.
Correct.
No, but he did work with your husband.
Oh.
Yeah, but we didn't really work together. Yeah, I guess we did.
Weren't you his boss?
Kind of.
He is really smart. He doesn't like Buffy, which makes him kind of dumb because it's my favorite show in the entire world.
I'm smarter than Andrew. I'm smarter than Andrew. It's only because he's not here that I'm saying that.
It's true. He's going to watch this and be like, what the fuck? Why? I'm supporting you, Buttercup. I love you. But watch Buffy.
I would like to throw out that we invited him to come over and even made an extra pound of hamburgers. Expecting
they won't
him
go to waste.
there.
They won't go to waste. But trust me. But the point
because
being,
Mark pulled out one package of hamburger from the freezer, and he's like,
"That's not enough."
I was like, if Andrew's coming over, and he's like, "Well, he eats like me," I was like, "Pull out a second pack."
that is true. how does Andrew eat? And I was like, he eats like me. You should definitely grab another
He
pack of
eats
meat.
like episode 4 of season 1 when episode 6 when the pack eats the pig and the principal.
And
That
Mr.
was a wild
Flutie.
episode.
Yeah.
Which is actually one of the episodes we'll be discussing. All right.
But that's fun because I actually like that. I like the actor who plays the new principal. I'm a big
Okay.
fan.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
obviously the last character on the character list is Buffy. Now we're just talking seasons 1 through 3, right? So from her vamp nail polish, stow over to
Frappuccinos. Trendy.
but tasty. To her getting the golden umbrella at prom, the wee parasol, to the graduation. So Buffy, her development between episode 1 of season 1 and graduation part 2, season 3.
It's a little tough just initially with the story issue because it's like she burnt down the school when she was 18 and now she's 15 again. But but besides that, if we take that out, I'm just being facetious because it's funny. But Buffy as a whole is a very fascinating character. You get a lot of things with her. You get a lot of emotional immaturity, which is great for someone of her age to go through. And you're like watching it and you get frustrated with Giles at her a lot because she just doesn't handle her emotions very well because she is a teenage girl. And, this immense person who has all of these powers and the ability to do all of these things. And she's just like, she's a girl. She's a teenage girl, and it's just it's a fun juxtaposition there because, all the power in the world and itty bitty lamp. But Buffy's super powerful, but then breaks down like almost every episode, at least 6 or 7 times.
Because she's a 16-year-old girl.
Exactly.
So you get to the prophecy girl, and she walks in on Angel and Giles having the conversation. The prophecy is written that she will die, and she literally comes in and she's like, Giles, I'm 16 years old, I don't want to die. But then she goes and she
does it anyway.
Decimates the master.
Mm-hmm.
And then she has her little witty line. She's like, I may be dead, but I'm so pretty.
Yeah.
And then you come back in season 2 and she doesn't know how to deal with her grief. So she literally takes a sledgehammer to some bones. Who doesn't want to do that?
Right.
And that's her dealing with her grief because she can't tell anybody, like the ones that she wants to, how she feels. Because I think that she doesn't know how she feels.
Right, yeah. She's
like
a teenage girl.
She is a teenage girl.
Okay,
But
in
then-
fairness, I am not a teenage girl, and I still don't always know how I feel.
Yeah, exactly. We're just humans, and she just displays so much humanity while being a superhero type character. It's really fun to see.
And then she literally falls in love, and not out of love, because when she stabs Angel with the sword, she's like, I still fucking love you, but I have to murder you because you're going to destroy the world. And then she runs away because, again, she doesn't know how to deal with her feelings because she's 17.
Mm-hmm.
And then her
knows what's
going back to the worst character, Joyce is like, get the fuck out of my house. And she's like, but Mom, like, I just murdered the love of my life. I don't know how to feel the things.
Yeah, right.
And Joyce is like, well, I don't know how to feel the things because you're a murderer and you are insane because you think that you're killing vampires.
Yeah. And so she tells her to GTFO and then gets mad when she gets out.
Right. And then she comes back and she's like, oh, well, my friend here who puts on the ancient mask of Africa and turns into a fucking zombie lord and has to be stabbed in the face with a shovel, told me because we had
let's be honest, that wasn't just her friend, that was totally her lesbian lover.
I was just getting to that point. Yes, they,
she had her lesbian
muffs, whatever. But then she comes back and she's like, oh wait, if, you know, I know my daughter can handle herself in a situation.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But she continues to be a terrible parent for the rest of the show.
Well,
Okay. Well, now we have
For
a few episodes that we're going to go through. And I have these listed as notable episodes.
I have
Right.
notes.
May I have a cookie, please?
What kind? Snickerdoodle?
There you do. No one would be fine. These
Ask
ones
the
are open.
Soulless Wonder. Okay.
Thank
So,
you for just giving me a cookie.
Obviously, seasons 1 through 3 are filled with a lot of character development, a lot of death, a lot of killing. And one of the very amazing things about Buffy is women all over the world really they want to be Buffy, right? She doesn't, freak out about the bump in the night. She is the one who goes out and kicks the monster's ass, but she also wants to be accepted. She also wants to, fit in and do the things. So the first episode we're going to talk about is season 1, the episode Witch. Now, in this episode, in this episode, Buffy decides she's going to become a cheerleader. This is her way to get in with the in crowd. This is her way to really connect with her new school. And shit goes down.
All of it.
Oh, so much shit. Right? We've already quoted this episode once tonight so far, when Xander's like, ooh, stretchy. Right?
Also to note, there are no vampires in this episode.
This is also true.
Trying to remember this one, so carry on.
This
Xander
is the cheerleaders with Amy and
Yes.
Amy's
The
mother.
first time you see Amy and Amy's mother.
Oh, yeah, because then she becomes the rat.
Not for
Not
another.
Not for a while, but yeah,
But yes.
this is the first time you
Yes.
see him. Yeah.
Xander gives Buffy a bracelet that says "Yours always,"
Mhm.
and he's like, "Oh yeah, it's a friendship bracelet." And then
Oh, and
Leo
that
is
dumb
a
shit, too.
little
Fucking
bit
Xander's so
jealous
stupid.
because, Xander is obsessed with
With
Buffy.
Buffy.
Yeah, and I think it's a good representation of how girls are trying to fit into a new school, but also just high school in general, because she's like, well, I was a cheerleader and I was Fiesta Queen and I was all these things at my old school. But now I have to do all the things to try and fit in. And in the previous 2 episodes, like, my bag got knocked over and they found a steak in my bag, and there's a dead body found in a locker, and I asked how or if its blood had been drained, and people were like, ew, why? You're weird.
Or when she, oh my God, I have to call everyone I know.
Right.
With Cordelia at the Bronze.
Correct.
Or when Mr. Flutie tears up her permanent record and then tapes it back together.
But it's clearly, like, not
In any semblance of order.
Yes. That's
like
also,
roundish.
I think, the first time we see Buffy's tentative date of birth, but it changes twice more between this season 1 and season 5.
Discontinuities again, huh?
Just
So-
the date of birth.
Yeah, I gotta tell
I'm
you,
just gonna
hold
throw
on a
this out
second.
there right now.
Hold on a second, because I do have to clarify that discontinuities happen, and I understand that. One of my favorite television shows of all time is JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, and that man is made of discontinuities. I just like to point them out because I think they're hilarious. Anyways, carry on.
One of the things that we love about Joss Whedon in general is he really writes characters with amazing story arcs, but he also doesn't care if that arc makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? And if
Oh, yeah.
in
Yeah.
episode 12 he needs something that was contrary to episodes 1 through 11 to happen in order for this character to make their next step, he will still make that fucking shit happen because he wants that character to make the next step.
Mhm.
And that's true of, I would say, all Joss Whedon shows.
Firefly.
Yeah, I would 100% agree.
You
with
can
that.
watch. I feel like you can watch that show in any order, and you're like, okay, it makes sense.
That's actually a fair point. Like, I love good episodic things like that, where like the story doesn't. That's one of the reasons why I really liked Stargate SG-1 is because it's 25 seasons of the same episode for 20 seasons an episode, 20 episodes a season.
Okay. So back to Buffy.
Oh, sorry.
Sick cookie.
Right. So we have the cheerleader episode.
Yes.
Where you get to know Willow beyond Xander and Buffy.
Mhm.
Right? Because you get to know, Amy and Willow were friends. You get to see the beautiful parenting that is Joyce Summers.
And Catherine.
Yeah.
Does she have a last name?
Don't remember.
Anyway, it's Catherine.
Yeah.
Great parenting. Telling your daughter she's fat and then going and eating a boatload of brownies. That's lovely.
Yeah.
It's what every 16-year-old girl wants to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Or
You know,
anybody ever.
Well,
The Barbie dolls being dipped into the cauldron.
right. They're bound, and Cordelia goes blind and takes out, I don't know, a half a family in a minivan.
Yeah. Or when Buffy
yeah,
starts
that did
singing Macho Macho Man.
Oh yeah, that did.
I
happen, too.
mean, she is making juice. Well, Joyce is making the juice. That's good parenting. She's making fresh juice for her daughter.
And Buffy eats a half of a piece of toast.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then later in the episode, her mom doesn't remember that she tried out for cheerleading.
Well,
So we go back to the bad parenting.
She's constantly a bad thing.
So the reason I bring up this episode in particular is because, like you mentioned, there are no vampires in this. This episode is not about Buffy being the Slayer. This episode is about Buffy being a high school girl.
Yeah.
Right? Now, there happens to be supernaturally things happening during this episode because, they live on the Hellmouth.
Right.
But this episode is not about Buffy the Slayer. This is about Buffy the teenager.
Right. And I think when she's drained of her power, essentially, and she's like, I'm dying. I don't know how to do the thing. And Xander and Willow have to come in at the end of the episode. And they're like, oh, we're going to shift this mirror so that, Buffy actually shifts the mirror.
Right. But she couldn't have done it without them.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Right. This is one of the times where you really understand why the Scooby Gang is so important. And later, I have a whole thing here about who is who in the Scooby Gang. Because I know who I would put in each of the Scooby characters to include Scrappy Doo. All right. So next episode, we've already talked about Teacher's Pet, which is one that, I do have on the list just because it's a really cool episode. But we're going to go to the Pack. Now, in season 1, we get to meet Principal Flutie. And he is, I think, what school administrators want to be. And most often, if they try to be, end up that way because he's completely ineffectual.
Yeah, he's terrible.
Everybody makes fun of him, but he really wants to support his students and he just sucks at it because he wants to be their friend. Now, having had a multi-generational family of educators, I've known many Principal Flutie in my time. But the Pack, you also get the quintessential high school moment of, we're not at the zoo, we're not at school moment, which, let's be honest, all of us, even to this day, when you have an off-site meeting for work, it's not that we're at this meeting, it's that we're not in the office, right? Like, the field trip mentality never dies.
Yeah.
It's true.
All right. So the pack.
They ate a lot of stuff.
Well, and also
And a
they're
person.
16. They go to the zoo.
Yeah.
And they're like excited about things, and they're like, "Oh, but the zebras are doing it." I
Yeah.
mean, as a aged person, you go to the zoo and you're like, "Oh my god, they're humping." Yes, let's watch it.
So, quick callback to a funny story from like 10 or 15 years ago. My friend Sean Pennypacker and I, Sean's a good buddy from Philly. We were at the zoo, and we were standing in front of the giraffes, and there was some mounting happening. And both Sean and I were like, yeah! Brother next to us, who's about our age, big beer gut, and he's got his kid on his front. Looks at us, you guys are perverts. But he's crying.
I have a very
It's just like, you guys are perverts, but I can't say it because he's laughing. Me and
My
Sean just
father-
lost.
Is a docent at a local zoo.
I was a member of the Denver Zoo for 15 years.
My dad actually
Yeah, He
educates
does.
school groups
Yeah.
as they come to this zoo,
Yeah.
and he's still like, "Hey, look, that elephant has a heart on."
Your
So-
dad would do that.
me and my husband were at the zoo,
That's
Not too
pops.
long
That is
ago.
pops.
and we come across. I think we're at like the big cats, and there's a school field trip there. I don't know, 3rd grade maybe. And there are these 2 boys, and one of them has an empty water bottle, and he's just hitting this other kid in the junk. And the kid that's getting hit goes, "Stop hitting me in the penis." And the boy hitting him goes, "Stop saying penis." And he goes, "Well, stop hitting me in the penis." And the chaperone is standing there mortified, and me and Andrew are just fucking losing it because there's these 2 small crotch goblins saying penis back and forth, and we're like, "Oh my god!"
Am I the only one who doesn't see
It's a fucking
me and Andrew doing something like that? Or, like,
exactly.
The
you
only
enjoy
thing
it.
missing is Jordan giggling.
There's a Cortman in there, and
Corbin laughing at us the whole
Like I
time.
said,
Trifecta.
he'll be right there giggling.
Why are you saying penis? Stop hitting me in the penis. Why are you saying penis? Something would happen here.
but we couldn't go in because of her feet. It's like, I think maybe everyone has a good zoo story.
All right, and now that we've said penis that many times, let's go into the next episode on my list.
We're getting zucked for sure on this one.
I feel like this next episode is appropriate just with that lead up because it's I, Robot, You, Jane.
Oh no. This is my least favorite episode of the season. I hate it so much. I hate that Willow falls down that hole and she's like, but he loves me. He tells me I'm pretty on the interwebs. Bitch, I mean, in this episode,
that
he's
shit.
a robot. But, like, he's
Yeah.
a 49-year-old overweight white man in Ohio. And you're a 17-year-old girl in California.
Now, the thing I particularly enjoy about this episode is the whole reason he lives in the computer is because of the scanner, and then you get into the cyber witches, which I can't remember, techno-pagan,
Techno-pagan.
Techno
Thank you.
pagans.
right? And so, like,
It's right here. See?
Techno
Techno-pagan.
pagan. She has it written down. It's like
Right.
actually in these things. Whatever those are. I can't remember what
What
they
do
are.
we see?
The big ears. That word's doing the big ears thing.
It also starts off in Italy, which is very nice. The demon kills Carlo.
mhm.
Oh, no.
All right. I'm done with that episode already.
You should be.
Okay. The
Textile
puppet
bacon?
show.
Oh,
This is when poor, sweet, unsuspecting, never been at a public school before Giles gets told to handle the high school talent show.
Oh God.
and Cordelia sings "The Greatest Love of All" by Whitney Houston in a key I don't think exists.
It doesn't.
I'm pretty sure the dog cried when we watched that episode.
The dog didn't, but man sure did.
But
Dissonance
this
is
is when
not
you
my
get
favorite
into the super pervy puppet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit was weird.
I also, to this day, still don't like puppets.
Because of
'Cause
this?
I think I'm gonna get molested or sexually assaulted by one named Sid.
If a puppet was ever going to do bad things to
It
you,
was probably going to be named Sid.
Yeah.
And how does it get in a window on a second floor of a very nice house?
It's got strings to pull itself up, going up.
It's not Pinocchio.
yeah,
That's true.
there are
That's
strings to pull him down. So Sid, right? The thing I like about this particular episode, and why it made it onto my list of notable episodes, is you get to see Giles not understanding how public schools work,
It is fun.
right? You get the misunderstandings of who is the bad guy, right? And
You also learn that the square root of 841 is 29.
that is also true.
This is also when wait, what? That
Right.
is in that one. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that one. She's got it written. It's right. It's right
I
there.
have the things.
It's right there. You also get the new principal
All right, and
Yes.
this
delegating
is
stuff.
go ahead, honey.
Armin Shimmerin, and I can't remember the principal's name, but Armin Shimmerin is one of my
Snyder.
favorite actors. Snyder, thank you. Notably plays a Ferengi on Deep Space Nine, who is one of our favorites, named Quark. This is the same actor who plays Quark. It plays this guy, and I love every time he's on screen. I know he's a terrible principal, and I know he's just like he hates everything about Buffy and just like tortures that poor girl for no reason. But just his presence on the screen just makes me happy, and I love everything about it. He's so good at just being the grumpy principal who just hates everything. It's so good. He's so good at it.
Yes, he is very good at being the bad
Yeah.
principal.
hmm
And you're just like, why are you such a dick?
Oh yeah, I love it. He's such a dick.
And just going from Flutie to him, you're like, but nice, fluffy Principal Flutie. And then whatever this
Short man syndrome.
gremlin is.
Yeah. He's short man syndrome. That's what it is.
He very much has a Napoleonic complex. But that actually leads us directly into the season 2 episode that I'd like to discuss, and that is School Hard.
Yes.
Now, this is
William the Bloody.
probably the best parenting that Joyce ever does.
This is literally when she says, do not fuck with my daughter.
Yeah.
Because she can take care of herself.
Right.
And she will destroy you.
Right. So we have Snyder, who is all like, Buffy, you're a loser and a doofus. You are in charge of parents' night.
Yeah.
Right. For those of you who are not aware, it's called School Hard because it's supposed to be like Die Hard because she crawls through like ventilation shafts and stuff.
And Spike is literally there.
Yes,
Is this why I was given a stick?
There are many reasons you were given a stick. But this is also when we get to meet Spike.
Yeah.
Right. This is when we also, and we'll get into the Anointed One a little bit later. Get to see his interaction with him. Right. But this is when we also see Snyder talking to the local law enforcement right? And they know what's what, right? Like they never come out and strictly say, so yeah, vampires were here. Doesn't this suck? So like
They're like, oh,
so
do we just say it was a gang on PCP? Yeah, that's what it was.
Right. Yeah. Right.
right? Because like they know that they're on the Hellmouth. Now Snyder doesn't care that he has a Slayer going to his school. What matters is that they're on the Hellmouth, right? And I'm pretty sure that's the whole reason he was brought to Sunnydale in the first place. They never actually say that, but unlike Flutie, doesn't get eaten by his students.
No,
by
he-
something else entirely.
he,
All right.
he gets his own demise.
So, husband, thoughts
Mhm.
on this episode?
I mean, you get to meet Spike, right?
Yeah.
And all of the things that go with that. And this is when he's still like badass Spike, and
He literally crashes his car into the Welcome to Sunnydale sign in the beginning of
yeah,
the episode.
like, this is like his introduction to being as Billy Idol as Billy Idol could be, and that's all you get. You don't get anything other than that from Spike in this episode, and it's fun. I like it a lot. It's a great introduction to a baddie who becomes a character for the long term.
But there is a little bit, because you do see a small interaction with Drusilla, because when they're in their little cave warehouse thingy, she's freaking out because Miss Edith gets no cakes because she's been a
That's
naughty
right.
girl.
Yeah, you get
And
that
he
vulnerability.
Oh, pet, what can I do for you? And you see that vulnerability
Yeah,
because
that's right. I forgot
you can
that
see,
happened.
and it comes in a later episode when Buffy is like, okay, I'll just take Drusilla from you. What are you going to do about it? And then he drops everything because Drusilla is his life.
That's his weakness.
And that's where you find that out.
I forgot about that.
And you really get to see that duality.
Yeah.
All right. While we're talking about Spike, this leads into the beginning of the next episode that we're going to talk about, and that is Halloween. Right now, one of the things I really love about Spike in this particular episode is not just the joy that he gets from all of the crazy, which is awesome, but the way he critiques Buffy's fighting style, right, at the pumpkin patch. Yeah. So Halloween, for those of you who are not aware of this, first off, catch up on Buffy because you're missing a lot. Second,
It's been 25 years.
this is where.
You can too.
Okay.
Sorry.
This is where the characters who rent their costumes from
Ethan Rain.
Ethan, I was going to call him Ian, but that's
The
because
guy.
I have a brother-in-law named Ian. You didn't do anything wrong, Ian. I mean, but Ethan,
What? What's with the fake qualifying?
you know what? I'm going to assume that my brother-in-law watches this because I read his book.
Fair. Don't do anything wrong, Ian. I'll come at you with the stick. But
You
next
will.
time it'll be glittery.
The glittery stick.
Right. They turn into their costumes. And this impacts the vast majority of Sunnydale, to include Buffy, Willow, and Xander.
Don't forget about Larry.
Oh, Larry.
Yes, and Larry the pirate.
Yeah, I forgot he turns into a pirate.
One of the things that's awesome is this is also the first time we really get to meet Oz,
Yes.
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
I love the final scene in the van when Willow's walking and she just takes the sheet off and she's in her come as you are sexy costume and he goes, who is that girl?
Yeah. Exactly. So, husband, you had mentioned previously that you hate that Xander brings this up constantly.
This is a fun one for me because you get to see the actors, being a little bit, goofy and playing around with their characters and getting to be other people a little bit while being their same character, getting to be inside of somebody else while playing that character, which these episodes to me are always fun for seeing what the actor does with that. You know what I mean? And for example, Xander becomes a soldier, and he is very much the soldier, but you can still tell it's Xander, and he's kind of stupid the whole time. And it's so awesome. But yeah, this is where he becomes a soldier, and you like the entire time he's fiddling with guns and doing all this stuff while saying the dumbest shit that you've ever heard on any fucking war movie that you've ever seen.
Because Charisma Carpenter is literally in a head-to-toe leopard print latex.
Yeah.
He's just a dumb high school boy with a libido, and he's like, holy fuck.
Right.
I've said that 17 times already. I can say fuck, right?
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We are an 18 plus
Okay.
podcast. Also, quick question for you. Xander tells everybody that he got his fatigues from an army surplus store, right?
Right.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The only thing he gets from Ethan is
the
the gun.
The gun, yeah.
So I think to that point, like, he is still Xander, but because he has the gun the whole time, because every time he does something military-esque, he's holding the gun.
Right.
If he were to put down the gun...
Ziggy, please turn on the lights.
Darkness. If he were to put down the gun,
They're on
think
a timer.
it would be... He would just be Xander in army surplus fatigues.
Or is it something, let's say, and we don't see this character in this episode, if a childling had gotten a wand from Ian Rain, right, to become a fairy for Halloween, would that wand have had fairy powers for this childling until the spell was reversed?
Probably.
I think yes, because you see a lot of these creatures, and they just have the mask on, like they're just wearing like normal clothes. And you can't imagine they got these normal clothes at Ethan Rain's. They got the mask there.
Right.
And so I think if it's one piece or prop from his shop that is possessed by Giannis, then yeah, you get the possession.
I agree.
This is also our first glimpse into Ripper.
Oh, Ripper.
He has such good taste in music, though.
He does have pretty good taste in music. He does. He needs to update his collection a little bit.
Well, but you still have Cream and...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, excellent taste.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Lucy would agree as well with the Cream.
If you don't know who Lucy is, check out our previous episodes of the album reviews, or even our Star Trek review. She is the first to have used the stick of pointing and poking.
Yeah. This is the third stick handler.
I'm not a novice.
But you're the only one we're letting take it home.
It's true.
That's true.
And I will come back covered in glitter.
We're the only one.
As long as there's a handle on there where the person who's holding the stick does not have to touch the glitter, because one of our repeat co-hosts and special guests, the haunted housewife, would prefer to not touch the glitter.
I don't have the jewelry. I meant to wear it.
Oh.
I love my little jar of bones.
Yeah,
We
shout
love
out
our
to
hand.
haunted housewife. Okay. Next in season 2, we're gonna go to What's My Line?
Part 1 or 2?
Both.
Yes, I have so many notes.
Right now, this episode is where they have to take the aptitude tests at high school. Buffy is told she could either go into lawn care and maintenance, because she can then carve steaks and work at a nursery.
Because she checked the box that said
She's pro shrub.
plants.
She came down on the side of shrubbery. Which is really funny because she came on the side of shrubbery and then later she's on the side of shrubbery.
It's
Get
true.
it? Okay. Or she could go into law enforcement. This is also when Spike sends the assassins after her.
The Order of Taraka.
Right? And we get 3 members of the order who come after Buffy. Right? We also end up with the guy who then has to kill himself because he doesn't get her. But more importantly, the Order of Taraka. We get the dude made out of bugs.
Bug guy, yeah.
Right? And this is how Xander and Cordy end up all smoochy faced.
Embraced.
2 very different styles of getting that across there. Smoochy face and embraced.
I'm pretty sure she's wearing a gray hoodie when they.
Not when they do the smoochy face, but afterwards,
Yes.
after he hoses her down.
Right. And he hoses her down a little bit too long because Xander.
Right, because, he wants her to have a wet t-shirt contest all by herself.
Exactly.
So, let's go ahead and start with the Dorothy Hamill portion of the episode.
She was obsessed with Dorothy Hamill. She had the Dorothy haircut. She had the ice skating lessons.
She had the poster on her wall.
Yes. And I think in this episode is where Angel really realizes that he is in love with her. We've seen things before with like the enamorment, but he sees her as a human girl, but he also, I think, he knows the strength that she has, and her human side is her weakness ish. But that's the part that he loves most about her. Because he learns that she loves or used to go ice skating with her dad all the time. And so he's like, oh, well, on Tuesdays, there's a rink that is closed. So let me take you there.
And that's when she kisses him when he has full vamp face.
Exactly.
Yep.
I mean, it's David Boreanaz. Regular face or vamp face.
I'm in.
Yeah. Do I need to poke you with the stick?
No, I'm in agreement.
All right.
This is also
I mean, you can if you want. That's what the stick is for.
This is also when Willow and Oz get thrown together.
Yep.
Right? Willow, who is the smartest girl in school to the point where she ends up taking over Miss Calendar's classes later.
Right.
And
when-
teaching dumb kids.
Well,
Because they
they're
are really
high
dumb.
school kids.
Right, but she actually teaches the dumb kids.
Yes.
Like, she's the tutor and stuff.
Right, but she also becomes the teacher.
Right.
Like but anyways, and Oz, who is ridiculously smart, pretends not to be and says he just tests well.
Right. He also offers her canapé, and in 1998, I had no idea what canapé was, and also didn't really have access to internet. So I was like, oh, let's go to Encyclopedia Britannica and figure out what canapé is.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Oh, the volumes of encyclopedias that we all used to have.
I still have them.
Do you really?
Yes. It's not Encyclopedia Britannica, but we do have a full encyclopedia set.
That's
Last time we were back in Kansas, Mark and I picked up the complete children's encyclopedia by Encyclopedia Britannica that I grew up with from my grandparents' house. And it now lives in our niece's library.
Yeah, this
And she reads it for fun.
I love that. I used to read encyclopedias for fun.
Me too.
This encyclopedia set is Andrew's grandfather's, and they were like, "Who would want a set of encyclopedias?" And I was like, "Me." And so, there was no contest. We got the set.
That's fabulous.
That's awesome.
Okay, so you have copious notes on what's in my mind.
Yes,
Please
I do.
share
Okay.
your notes.
So we also learn about Mr. Gordo, the
Yes.
stuffed pig. Cordelia is said to be a personal shopper or motivational speaker.
Mm-hmm.
I can see where testing would give her the qualifications to be a motivational speaker, but I would not want her to be a motivational speaker.
Oh no.
They make fun of Xander for testing to be a prison guard, but donuts. And then they again later say something about donuts when Buffy is law enforcement. We learn about the tomb of Duloc,
Mm-hmm.
which is important later in the season. In the ice rink, they're skating, they're happy. She kisses him, his head is cut, and then the vamp comes out and he dies, and that was where I developed my fear of being cut by ice skates.
Me too.
Right? It's terrifying.
She uses the ice skate to kill him.
Angel spins her around and she slices him and then head and blood, and it's fun. Blush Beautiful is the makeup brand which the Bugman is selling.
Cuckoo Cachoo.
Exactly. And it is the first appearance of Willie the Snitch.
This is true.
Who she later creates beautiful prose for in I think it's Graduation Day Part 1. No, I don't know. And we also learned that Willow has frog fear.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And Kendra, very important.
I love me some
Fingernails.
Kendra.
Which leads into What's My Line Part 2. Because that's how the episode ends.
Carry on.
So one of the things I love about What's My Line Part 2 is with Kendra, you have the way she and Buffy interact and the complete difference in the way these two Slayers face their calling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because Buffy
Okay then.
takes it on as
A job.
that she's not getting paid for.
Mm-hmm.
And Kendra, it's a calling. It's what she's meant to do. It's the only thing in her life. Like, she learns of this at a young age and she's trained and she's meant to die. And she is only there because Buffy dies. But then it also, I think it's what Buffy would be. And we see this in a later episode, Doppelgangers, when Buffy, I feel like, doesn't have any humanity. She's only there to kill the vampires.
Mm.
And when she has that mindset, her neck gets snapped by the Master. I think Buffy's humanity is what allows her to live on all of this time. Yes, she does die, but it's only because she's drowned a little bit. And Xander brings her back to life.
Which just
Bonus,
gives him
Xander
something.
does bring Buffy back to life, so that makes him a little bit of a better character.
Yeah, but then he rubs it in Angel's face.
Correct.
Yes, but Angel's also broody, and I think Xander just does it because he's like, oh, he's broody anyway. I'm just gonna poke the bear.
No, he does it because that's what Xander does.
All right. Well, while we're
Fine.
talking about Xander, we're going to go back to slightly earlier in season 2, Go Fish.
Okay.
This is where I am happy that Xander is on screen.
Because
This is the episode with the swim team.
and I believe Cordelia says, ooh, yummy.
And then realizes it's her boyfriend.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
and
that's right.
she's
I do remember that
horrified.
part. Yeah.
And then she talks to the monster dude in the pool, and she's like, "It's just because you were trying to impress me."
Right.
Also, one of the things that the most recent time I watched this episode, now I've seen all of Buffy several times, but the most recent time we were watching Go Fish, and this is again husband's first time ever seeing Buffy. I realized that the guy in the steam room who says, we're sitting in it, right? Like, oh my God, he was in this and this and that, right?
Shane West.
Yes.
Yeah, I have that note.
It's written right there. I see it.
Also, Wentworth Miller, who was in that prison show. But he's the first one that she breaks his nose. Yep.
Yeah, I remember when we watched this one because you brought up the fact that Shane West was in this.
Mm-hmm.
We watched this one, so I see it on her notes. But I remember when we were watching it that you said it.
Yes.
I see and heard. I remember. Don't remember.
Also, Xander contemplates if he wants orange or grape soda, and it's a fun moment.
Mm-hmm.
Orange or grape. And then Sea Monster, and he runs away screaming like a little bitch, but.
Like a little bitch.
And we also know that Jonathan peed in the pool.
Yes.
Which is gross.
That is gross.
In fairness, every pool you have ever been in your entire life
has been peed in.
It's true.
To include the big one. The big pool. The ocean.
It's full of whale pee.
It's got lots of fish pee.
As
semen.
Moana points out when
Shrimp
discussing
pee.
things with the ocean, fish pee in you all the time.
Yeah.
And as the tiny soulless wonder has just pointed out to all of us,
Semen.
they also ejaculate into the ocean.
The more you know.
Do, do, do.
Semen. Why are you wagging your tail at that?
Also,
Vicky?
fun fact.
Don't do it. I know what you're thinking.
I got a question right in trivia because it was like, who was the first woman to swim the English Channel? And I was like, fucking Gertrude Ederle. I know that from Buffy. And Andrew was like, why do you know that? And I was like, the more you know.
That is in that episode. I do remember them saying so. I
They're
don't
in the
remember.
car
Yeah.
right before she smashes Gage's nose into the steering wheel because he tries to grope her.
Yeah.
No, Buffy is something that we can all relate to. There's a lot more that happens in seasons 1 and 2 that are very important to the whole storyline, to the continued entire series. But if we were to talk about every episode, which I'd like to do, we would run out of time. And by run out of time, I mean it would be tomorrow. So we're going to move on to season 3. And we're going to start right away with the opening episode of season 3. Right? Because we've already discussed Angelus and the way she has to kill him.
Sad.
And, but let's talk about Anne. Right? Buffy has left home. Not because she's running away from her problems, but because Joyce is a shit mom.
Because mom's a bitch.
Right? And Xander is also
What did you
kind of a
drop?
bitch when she comes back, but whatever. Nightwing.
Nightwing.
Right. So we meet Anne. Now, one of the things that we also get to see in this episode is the character Lily, who was previously the character Chanterelle.
In Lie to Me.
And husband has asked how many times we will get to meet her. I refuse to answer any of his questions.
About which one?
Chanterelle.
Yeah. And she keeps coming back.
So Anne, Buffy is working as a waitress under her middle name.
Mm-hmm.
And ends up being pulled into Lily's issues because she recognized her from her vampire cult.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Lily was in the vampire cult, not Buffy, but anyway.
But Lily was Chanterelle at the time.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Chanterelle.
And then before that, she went by Sunshine. It was a whole thing.
Yeah, Chanterelle, I think, was a song in the original Cinderella.
No, babe.
What?
Or was it? Wasn't that a song by?
Will you please poke him with the stick?
Double poke.
Trying to get poked with the stick at this point is what I'm doing.
Okay.
Well,
Now,
you're saying things that I agree with. I can't poke on the agreements.
my favorite line in this entire episode is when the evil demon is, "Who are you? I am no one. Who are you? I am no one. Who are you? I'm Buffy. And you are?" Best line in this episode, in my personal opinion.
I mean, it's
I also like, that's right, big boy. Come and get it.
that's basically the tagline for that series, right? It's like, I'm Buffy, and you are, right? Like,
Yes.
that has to run on every ad, so they have to get it actually into the show at some point.
It's
Okay.
true.
So,
One of my favorite things, because I am the soulless one, is when the gate falls on Ken's legs and you see the blood and he's screaming in agony. But I'm like, you deserve it.
agreed.
Yeah, I agree. I actually think I said that out loud
Oh, good.
when I watched this episode. I was like, he got what he deserved.
Does anybody else go, I wish that would happen to all cult leaders?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, worse.
There are
There's
things, yeah.
fire, but you see later in season 3, tree pretty, fire bad, but sometimes fire good.
Mm-hmm.
I think, giant fence, drawbridge thingy. What's the word I'm looking for?
Guillotine?
No, it's the thingy that comes. It's not the gate, but anyways.
Oh, yes.
The castle gate thing.
Oh, the drawbridge.
No, there's
It's-
actually a name for the gate in the castle with the
This
big
thing.
spiky thing.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think that there are cult leaders who use too much spray tan who should have that happen to them.
I agree.
But moving on, we have already discussed Joyce's lesbian lover that is in season 3,
Dead Man's Party.
and the zombie uprising, especially with the animals.
What does this say? Sorry,
Do you need help deciphering your
I
handwriting?
have side notes and I don't. Baylor, Harpy, delinquent. Oh, okay. At the end of the episode, when Willow and Buffy go out for coffee, I write down what they go back and forth saying to each other.
Yes.
Runaway, quitter, whiner, Baylor, Harpy, delinquent, tramp, bad seed, witch, freak.
Hmm.
I couldn't.
And
see what that
let's
one
be
was.
honest, anybody who has a best friend has had that exact conversation.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure I can show it on text.
I mean, if you don't call your best friend a runaway or a tramp or a loser or a bitch in some capacity,
Or a whore.
are you really friends?
When I heard this, when I heard this part of that, it reminded me of a conversation I had at work a while ago where like somebody was like, "You're such a guy," because everyone that comes up that I know, I'm like, "What's up, fucker?" But that's just that's how guys talk, and I'm just like, that's not just guys. Like you guys do it too. Like I'm sure you have a relative or something that you're like, "You bitch," and you mean it well, but like that's just the way you talk, and that's just certain people that you have like that. It's like, "What's up, you son of a bitch? How you doing?" You
Right,
don't mean it
sidebar,
badly. It's just kind of like an exclamation almost.
have you heard that one of Mark's coworkers told on him to me about him
Oh yeah.
talking to this hot redhead at work?
Was it Ashley?
Ashley.
It totally was Ashley.
Oh, that
Ashley.
poor.
Yeah.
She stood in line
Yeah.
to go to his register,
Yeah.
even though
There were
there was
open
an open
registers.
register.
There were several. It was
And
like I was on the
then
end.
they talked.
I would stand in his line too.
I know you would.
We have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then one of
But-
his coworkers was like,
My boy Gia.
Bobby, you should know that
But-
there's this redhead.
Mark, he's like, Mark, was that your wife? Because if that's not your wife, it's okay, buddy. That's
It's one of my good friends'
Yeah.
wives.
She was there when I got married. Trust me, it's fine.
We have random pictures of her from my sister's phone.
It's totally
I took
okay.
them.
It's totally okay. Very, very good friends. I have a lot of female friends. It's totally fine. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal.
It's not like they ate the band candy.
Not the band candy.
Now we get more Ethan Rain,
We do.
and we really get to know Ripper.
Oh God, this episode. Sorry, I just realized where we were at. I don't.
Right?
So when you guys talk about these things and you say the name of the episode, I need some hints as to what we're
No,
talking.
I-
And you've been doing a great job. Yeah, you're doing a great job. But
Yeah, I am trying to elaborate.
oh, absolutely.
So for some of us,
Yeah.
with the uterus in this room, not counting Sandy because she doesn't care, we understand what the
Brain.
titles of the episodes are.
Yeah.
And not just because I have a notebook filled with personal notes of them, I actually do know most every single episode name without being prompted.
Likewise,
So, band candy.
but
not there
band
yet,
candy,
But now
we-
I know what you're talking
we
about.
get to see Ethan Rain a second time,
We get to see him punch in the face.
which
A
is
second
really
time.
great. We also, unfortunately, get to see Giles and Joyce
On a police car
twice,
with handcuffs.
and
Makes it slightly better, but still.
we don't use handcuffs. We use things with Velcro.
Yeah.
It's really heavy duty Velcro for those of you who are judging.
And
Um,
buckles. There's buckles too.
But we also get to see what Snyder was like as a teenager and what a loser he really was.
Oh my god, the loseriest of losers.
Right?
Which
Like
makes sense. It's
even
tracks.
Jonathan won't hang out with Snyder.
Exactly.
It totally tracks.
So, band candy,
My eye's twitching.
please discuss.
We may have to carry on.
So I love
Get her in the medical tent.
just like the dialogue. She's like, "Mom, you're my mom," and she's like, "Shut up! I'm gonna go hang out with this cool band guy, and he's gonna like break into this store and buy me this super awesome duster, which is really awesome. I would like one."
Yeah.
But I think it once again humanizes Buffy because she sees her mom as a human and not so much a mom. And she's like, we all have that moment where we're like, oh God, our parents had sex and that's why we're here. But we don't ever want to think about it. We repress it and repress it and repress it some more until it's deep underground with the dust of the master's bones. But then she's also like, Giles, you're very, very old. Ew. Like, you don't have sex? What are you doing?
Giles has never had to have sex. He has no children.
Exactly.
Right.
He's just an old librarian.
Everyone knows sex from anyone not in your generation is only for procreation.
And otherwise, it's just icky.
So I'm not. I have so many things to say about that.
I don't know how to respond to any of this.
I'm just gonna throw this in here just because sex for those who are not in our generation is yuck. According to my grandmother, may she rest in peace. When you stop having the sex, right, then somebody is having it somewhere else. right? Sex and money are the 90-10 rule. If you have open communication about them, they're 10% of your relationship. If you can't talk about it, it becomes 90% of your relationship.
That's a fair point.
So, shout out to my grandmother who has passed. I quote her on the regular, and so
Which I'm fairly certain, actually, Xander does talk about.
his grandparents having sex.
No, it might be in season 4, so I might be getting ahead of myself.
You're fine.
Because he's like, Willow, if you're having it, you should be able to talk about it. So I think it is in season 4.
That is in
with
season
Oz.
4, but Mark has already seen that episode.
Oh, okay. Sometimes it just blends together. I know all the things, but
It's okay. I can tell you the difference between the seasons, not always the difference between the episodes, because
Yes.
a lot, especially when we're in like the college years with the But anyway, so now we're gonna get into where we first meet Willow the slut and Xander the wannabe badass.
yes.
And that is in the episode The Wish. At this
I have
point,
half a page of notes.
Cordelia and Xander have split up, right? Cordelia was impaled, having fallen through stairs,
Trying to get out of the warehouse where
Xander and Willow were getting all
kidnapped
busy
by
with it.
Spike.
Yeah.
Because
And
Drew left him for a chaos demon in Brazil or something.
Yeah.
so, but this is when we meet Anya.
Mhm.
And Anya shows up because it is her job as a demon to then go out and smite men who have wronged their lady folk. Now let's all hear.
But she's not Anya then. When she smites, she is Anyanka.
Yes. Let's all be honest. If we had a spell to summon Anyanka,
We would.
all of those that identify as the female persuasion would summon Anyanka.
There would be a lot less males around. Lots less.
See,
Right?
I can't poke him with a stick when he's right.
Yeah, but you can poke him with a stick for funsies.
I'm one of those males. I mean, I have not been unfaithful, but I am one of those male type people.
You don't have to be unfaithful for Anyanka to go after
It's
you.
true.
You just have to have wronged your lady.
Yes.
Well, let's find out.
Well, not me.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm fine then.
Because otherwise, I wouldn't have to summon Anyanka. I'd sick the soulless tiny wonder on you and many others, but particularly the one who has a degree in forensics and could hide the body.
And is directly closest to me at this current location.
And
Yeah.
I have the stick,
And
which I am
stick.
allowed to do anything with, which means
Sharpen.
attach a stabby device, which I
Sharpen.
am considering.
But again, degree in forensics, you could hide the body very well. Although
true.
Pig Farm.
The good
Okay.
news is we're
I
on
also-
live, so there's a motive established.
I also know a man with gators. They eat all the parts.
Sandy would
Food and
miss me
pigs.
too much.
Okay, so The Wish. This is when Cordelia has decided that it's not because of Willow. It's not because of Xander. It is because of Buffy. We have referenced this episode already when talking about if Buffy was raised the way Kendra was, what she would be. So, The Wish. The puppy.
Angel. I like Angel. Dark and broody. And I don't like to see him hurt by some sociopath throwing matches onto him. Like, why?
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Okay, so I'm just going to throw this out there. I don't like when Skanky Willow throws the matches onto Angel.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
I do like when Drusilla pours the holy water down his chest.
I did like that bit because I was a little bit like Wax.
Yeah. And that's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
That's probably a different
Yeah.
episode and I think a different channel.
Correct.
Oh,
you haven't spoken a lie yet.
but
I'm just gonna throw that out there. Like,
yes.
But, however, Willow in the outfit,
And the eyeshadow.
yeah, the whole look, the whole dark Willow thing.
But she has lime green eyeshadow. She's this dark, it's like maroon, like blood red, maroon, black, like
Bustier
skin
corset.
tight, can't breathe. But then she has
and the
on,
boots.
Yeah.
oh my god, I
Yeah.
love those boots. I think I have them.
I have similar.
Similar, yeah. The lime green eyeshadow. It doesn't work, but I feel like it works for Willow. So it's cleverly disguised. It's like Willow's still there, but then you have this darkness to her.
Mm-hmm.
And that eyeshadow is still there when she becomes a vampire, and Vampire Willow is the worst Willow there is. I don't know what it is, but that the prosthetic just doesn't work on her at all. It just doesn't match, you know. Especially when she starts speaking, I'm like, it just doesn't sound like you at all.
Okay. Well, then let's tie this directly into the discussion with Doppelgangland. Right? This is when Anyanka wants to get back her pendant
Right.
Mhm.
and asks Willow to help open up a doorway so she can get this necklace from the alternate universe.
Correct.
And so we get Skanky Vamp Willow.
Yep.
But it's really just Willow.
Well, I mean, we get Skanky
Well, we
Vamp
do.
Willow, who then meets
Regular.
Regular.
Fluffy Sweater Willow.
Right. And then you get Willow as Skanky
Right.
Dark Willow.
But then when she's all like,
Yeah, that part is so funny when she's like, you can tell it, and I actually really enjoyed. And this is when I'm just like, okay, some of the acting is really good, right? Like, and I was really like, Light Willow pretending to be Dark Willow in the Dark Willow outfit, nailed it, you know. And I like that moment where she's just like, little wave.
mhm.
So
You know, I think I heard something. Why don't you go and listen to this?
it's also the first time we hear Willow, as Willow, say bored now, which comes in a much later season, which is very, I was going to wear that shirt, but I was like, nope, we're not on that season yet, because I do have the bored now Willow shirt, but I will wear it next time. Fun fact, Sandy, not the dog,
Not her.
is the first one that Doppel Willow eats. In case you wanted a name.
Okay. There you go.
So I have 2 more episodes in season 3, and then we're going to get into our favorite villains and our favorite slayers. The first episode, we're going to jump back a little bit, and that is the homecoming episode, where Buffy and Cordelia are competing to be homecoming queen. And they're buying votes with frappuccinos and muffins and goodie baskets and cupcakes and blah blah blah. And their friends decide, let's put these two alone in a limo and see if they can work things out. Meanwhile, there's a bunch of weird fuckers who decide that they're going to have Slayer Fest, was it 95, 99?
Slayer Fish 98.
98,
Yeah.
thank you. I knew it was the 90s. So they're going to have Slayer Fest, and they think Cordelia is Faith.
Yes.
So you have 2 random women, high school seniors at this point, being dropped into the middle of nowhere
In Miller's Woods.
to then fight for their lives against a slew of Slayer killing creatures, whether they be the Germans, the demon, or the Texas vampires.
Yes.
So let's discuss the homecoming episode.
So, first and foremost, I think it's important to mention that Charisma Carpenter looks amazing in emerald green.
Oh, 100.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Secondly, in a class that I recently took to get my degree in forensics, we had to take a fictional character and sort of run a campaign for them as to why they could rule the world. And I actually used a lot from this episode, including bribing people with cupcakes, because who doesn't want cupcakes in the Sunnydale colors? I actually wore this hoodie to do it, and I went first because I was like, no one else is going to do it, and I'm offering cupcakes. So, and if you won first place in your campaign, you got like extra bonus points to get your A++ or whatever. So that was fun, but I don't know where this train was going.
But Charisma Carpenter
Charisma
looks
Carpenter
hot.
and-
You're smart. Cupcakes
The
and
first
death.
appearance of the mayor,
And
Oh, yeah.
Trick.
Correct.
which is really fun, because I think I love any episode with Trick in it,
Yeah, me
because
too.
he's just that actor.
Me too.
It's just so fun.
Mhm.
But also, who doesn't want to kill somebody with a spatula?
Oh yeah, yeah. Or a frying pan.
Okay, I get where you're going with frying pan, but in this, when Buffy sends Cordy to look for weapons in the cabin that they're in, she comes back with a
Yeah,
spatula.
I remember that. I remember.
She's like, Cordy, there's a phone. Oh.
I still want the orchid.
Yeah, but I think this episode once again humanizes Buffy, because she's running a campaign to be homecoming queen.
Yeah.
She wants to be a normal girl,
Mhm.
and then
Shit
she's
gets
pitted
sideways.
together with someone who is the complete opposite of her,
Mhm.
and she's like, what am I supposed to do with this? Like, I don't like Cordelia. She's completely worthless. But then in the end, like, Cordelia's kind of a badass.
Yeah.
Like, she actually slays a vampire.
Mhm. It's a really good episode. I enjoyed this one a lot. It's a little bit like pre-Hunger Games, but like reindeer games, if you remember that stuff. Those where they hired the people and stuck them in the woods so people could actually hunt them. This is
Yeah.
what this kind of felt like, but with a lot of that, Hunger Games mentality type thing. I really enjoyed that kind of thing. So this was fun for me.
It was the toilet paper, right?
I do love the toilet
Yeah, the
paper.
toilet paper was
Okay, I don't know about anybody else, but if I ever have crazed, trained sniper dudes coming after me looking for a tracker beacon in my corsage, I'll throw toilet paper wad at them,
Yeah.
and I know I'll be fine.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
That's all you got to do.
And then they'll blow up the Germans and the weird yellow demon.
With the poor guy, his arms, like
Yeah.
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 I want to know how he regenerates those throwing knives.
Or
Science.
do you?
Well, because he keeps getting new
I
ones.
know.
They're all bones from his arm.
Is it
Science.
like a Wolverine situation?
That's what I was
Explain it,
thinking.
science.
Okay,
Explain it, science.
now to end season 3, we have the 2-part episode, Graduation. Now, the reason episode or episodes is so important is because this is where you really see the culmination of the fact that the high school students trust who Buffy is. Now, in a previous episode, in the prom episode, right, where we're not going to get into that because I'm going to get all kinds of cranky about the way Angel and Buffy have, but anyway, Hmm.
That's a whole
Okay.
nother thing.
So, but the students trust her, right? And the Scooby Gang is able to get every single person in the senior class to work together for this joint cause, right? Meanwhile, you have the creepy ass, Mr. Rogers meets, Hannibal Lecter, mayor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Okay.
graduation. Discuss.
Willow and Oz do it for
Mm-hmm.
the first time.
Mm-hmm. And then again.
And probably then again, which is why Willow is late to her own graduation.
But they are so
Doing
cute.
it in his van.
They are so
naughty.
they are so fucking adorable though.
It's the best.
Yeah.
There's Al Green and
Yeah. Like Oz knows what he's doing.
well, he plays the bass. He
Right, yeah.
has the fingers for it.
What's that like?
Did you know that my husband plays the bass?
Hi. Speaking of fingers, Willow pushes the machine for a root beer, but she gets Coke. But it's a trusty machine.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And she loves it.
she does. Yep. Yeah. So Buffy is Buffy, but also Buffy is teenage girl graduating from high school. And we don't see it in part 1, but we see it in part 2 when Giles literally saves her diploma for her.
Mhm.
And she is like, I love this. And you do see it on a shelf, very obscure, but it is in later episodes. She
Mhm.
does have her diploma on display.
And this is also where we get Tree Good.
Tree Pretty.
Tree Pretty, Fire Bad.
Yes. The fire truck's number is 54 and also 254, in case you guys didn't know that. And it's the first time at the end when you have the Gur-Arg monster, he turns and he's wearing a graduation cap. But then, so you end the first part of graduation day with Buffy and Faith in fisticuffs.
Mhm.
And Buffy thinks that she has killed Faith because she falls off the edge of the building into the garbage truck or whatever.
Which I have problems with, by the way.
Of course you do.
Just that moment.
Yeah, I know. I heard about it for 2 days.
Big stabby knife.
No. She falls.
That wasn't the problem. How did that guy just keep driving? Couldn't he tell that some random
Okay,
bitch
so-
fell into his truck?
No, because she weighed 94 pounds.
She fell off of like a 10-story building into a moving vehicle, and that truck was not very big. You're telling me he couldn't feel anything? He didn't feel nothing? Your
Jeez.
truck gets hit with a rock and you can feel it. That bitch fell from the sky. She fell from hundreds of feet out of the air. Bitch fell from the heavens. And he couldn't feel that and just kept driving? That part of it I have a problem with. Just that part. Just that part. Like, he would have definitely been like, oh, fuck, what's that? And stopped. You know?
Not if he knows what driving through Sunnydale is like.
That's fair.
Then I would have wanted to get that bitch out of the back. I would have stopped and been like, what? I don't need to take this shit with me. It's going to bring the Hellmouth all the way to
Really?
Pittsburgh.
Now he's not getting poked with the stick?
Just that
I'm
part.
thinking about the stabby thing up there.
The
and
bat lift.
stabby
That's
thing.
a Klingon battle sword. It's called a bat lift.
And
Okay,
that
I
would
don't
be
know.
Shira's sword because she is the princess of power. But anyways,
But no, I was just making sure the audience knows to what that she is referring over there is the big bat lift, and then the Princess of Power sword. Yeah. Which one would you like to beat me with?
Yes.
Just that part. I liked the rest of it, but I have a hard time believing that truck driver would have not felt anything
I think
and
that
inspected his cargo.
the way that you get to see the mayor interacting with Faith and the way that Buffy then is able to use that against him, during the ascension.
Right. Instead of a jar of hummus.
Exactly. Because, that was also a battle option for those of you who do not recall.
Also germs.
Germs.
We just run up to him and sneeze on him. Way to go, Cordelia. And this is when we see Cordelia and Wesley kiss so awkwardly
Yeah.
for the first time.
Only
and
time.
It's, well, and the only time. It's so cringe. And yeah, don't ever
Plus,
kiss like that.
everyone who has ever had a frenemy or someone that they've worked with, gone to school with, whatever, can completely understand the Willow Harmony moment when they're signing yearbooks. Right?
Have a great summer.
Oh yeah, the have a great
Right?
summer thing
And then
was pretty funny.
and then Harmony walks off and Buffy's like, "Don't you hate her?" with a fiery passion. But this is also very important because then Harmony gets, bitten by the vampire as she's trying to flee graduation. And then we later see Vamp Harmony.
Which is
Varminy.
so fun.
We're not calling her that.
Can we call her Varminy?
No, absolutely not. The
Varminy's
thick
off-
rains.
Varminy's off the table, huh?
Okay, so now we're going to go into
Put a
something
little
different.
Umbrella on top of it.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
A little parasol.
So I have listed here in seasons 1 through 3
Yes.
the 4 different Watchers that we are introduced to.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the first, obviously, we have everyone's favorite, the beloved Anthony Stewart Head, Giles. We love him. He's fabulous. We appreciate him.
He repossesses organs
He
as
does.
a side hustle.
Well, yeah, and he makes sure that his daughter stays drugged at all times.
Yeah.
Right.
Right?
Take your medicine.
We never get to meet Faith's first Watcher, nor do we ever meet Kendra's Watcher.
Correct.
But
So
we
we
hear
have-
about them.
We do.
So we have 2 faceless Watchers. Now, I can't remember the name of Faith's Watcher, but we are told her name.
We might have it. Hold on.
And then we get to meet Faith's next Watcher,
Yeah.
the bitchy and yet power mad Gwendolyn Post.
Oh, that bitch.
Oh yes.
I forgot about G-Po.
Gwendolyn Post.
Yeah, I forgot about G-Po.
Don't call her that.
Please
You're
don't.
not allowed to do nicknames.
Stab.
I forgot
Right?
about Gwendolyn Post. Yeah.
Then, as we've previously discussed, we have Wesley. Yeah, we all hate Wesley. I don't even like Wesley in Angel when he tries to not be a douche.
Yeah, he's mostly useless.
Right?
He's just bad.
But then we have my least favorite of all of the Watcher characters that you meet in seasons 1 through 3. And that is of the Watchers Council in the episode in which Buffy turns 18.
Oh, I hated that.
And Giles is stripped of his status as Watcher.
I didn't like that whole thing at all. Like the whole thing was, I didn't like the episode. I didn't like.
The episode is called Helpless.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Right? So the reason I bring up the variety of Watchers is let's talk about the Watchers, the 2 faceless Watchers that were mentioned, Gwendolyn Post, Wesley, the Watchers Council, and Giles. Okay? What would you take from each of these Watchers if you were a Watcher yourself?
Can I, before I start thinking about answering this question, I have a question prior.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How much do you make as a watcher?
You don't.
You don't. It's a calling. But
Well, he
your
has-
education is paid for.
Yes.
I was gonna say
Yes,
he has
you
a
do
pretty
get
he
your
has a
education.
pretty nice little cozy spot for himself for a guy who is a school librarian, which
It's
is
true.
normally a part-time job, by the way.
I love Giles's apartment.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful. That's what I'm saying.
I
Is like,
always viewed it more
did they-
as like a townhome style sort of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, but
like
do you
in
think
in
they
a
could
condo
like?
setting.
Do you think that that's part of it? Like room and board is part of it?
No, because he still gets to keep that place even after he's stripped of his watcher title.
Okay, so that's just okay. I was just like that seems.
I think he has that through family money.
I felt like the hard-timid nature of Giles's work puts him out of his league for that apartment. So he must have stumbled into some family money, maybe.
Yes.
Plus
It's
he's got
never
expensive.
said, but yeah.
Yeah. Plus he's got expensive taste. You can tell that.
By the scotch.
Or the tweed.
Yeah, or just like the fact that he listens to decent music and like like he's got taste.
Yes.
And that doesn't necessarily mean expensive, but it does mean he probably spends money on something.
He's also British.
Yeah.
I think they handle their money better than Americans do.
Okay.
And I also think he has generational money.
Okay.
Because he does talk about his parents.
From Wesley, I would take nothing. Nothing, absolutely nothing. Maybe his education as a watcher because it's the most up to date of all the people you meet. But other than that, I would take nothing from him because he's got the most book knowledge of all of these people that you get to meet.
Yeah.
But I would take nothing from him. I would throw him in the fire, and a big one, a big fire that's already going. Throw him into the river. Yeah, sandworm. Sandworm. But
Now, are we talking about a dune sandworm or like a Beetlejuice sandworm?
I mean,
both.
like
Both
one
is
from
good.
each side.
Both is good.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
Both is
comfortable
good.
with that.
Yeah.
He gets eaten by the Beetlejuice sandworm that then gets eaten by the dune sandworm, and then the dune sandworm gets set on fire.
Yeah,
Yes.
both.
Yep.
All three is good.
Okay,
Porque no trace.
all right, continue. So from Wesley, we take
Yeah,
nothing.
absolutely nothing.
From the faceless watchers, from Gwendolyn, and from the council.
I think from Kendra's faceless watcher, the book knowledge, because that's all she has
Mm-hmm.
coming into it. And I don't know, she's afraid of boys.
Is she afraid of them, or is she just not allowed to be around them?
Well, she's not allowed to be around them.
Awkward as fuck around him is what
So she doesn't know how to be around. I
Yeah.
mean, but what teenage girl does know how to be around boys? Also, boys are stupid. You should throw rocks at them. And then
Poke them with
sacrifice
sticks.
them to the sandworms and then set them on fire.
If anybody can draw me that would be awesome. I want that on a t-shirt.
Yes, I would also take one. I don't know about anything from Face Watcher.
The dead one?
Yeah.
No.
She died. Like, she's useless.
Yeah.
Okay. From Gwendolyn Post.
Cheapo.
I was like contemplating snapping the stick in half, but then I was like, no, just stab him.
If we need to get a new stick, you can break that one.
A finger stick. That's a stick.
Yeah, that's the daddy
That's actually-
stick.
Oh.
That's not what it's called. Carry on, please.
It's
That's
the
not what it's called.
Okay. We can't call it that because we also have one in the bedroom. So
Oh my.
we actually call them the Mac post or the Mac stick because my father came over and was like, "Hey, your guys' house is crooked. I don't like that your doors don't close all the way.
Can we carry on, please?
So he borrowed our tape measure, measured the width, like
My
the-
wayward son. We'll get to that in the next few episodes.
Yeah,
right?
but anyways, so my father cut pieces of stick to put into our doors, and Mark doesn't like it when I call it the daddy stick and put it in our bedroom.
You're welcome, the internet.
Okay, so Gwendolyn Post.
Cheapo.
She Jibo. She has
It's a giant button.
chutzpah.
Ew.
Spunk.
Also, don't like that word.
I didn't know that.
appreciate
That's
the
funny.
way- I appreciate the way that Gwendolyn Post talks to Faith,
Uh-huh.
and
Like
she's
a
all
warrior.
yeah,
Texting
she's
your
all like,
husband that I just
I'm
figured
not
out a
here
new
to be
word
your
you know.
friend. Like, I'm here to make you the best Slayer you can possibly be.
Yeah.
Now, she's lying.
And she's a horrible human and she deserved
Exactly.
but
But I appreciate until that point.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now from the old fart from the Watchers Council in Helpless. Not to mention all of the lackeys in Helpless that then get eaten by the vampire.
But can we also talk about the kind of hot vampire that eats everyone?
Oh yeah.
He's also a little prey and
Yeah, I
needs
think
his
he and
pills.
Drew could seriously have some
Oh,
bad
yeah.
shit go down.
Where were we at? Which one?
We're
Um,
still in Helpless.
Oh, okay.
With
the vampire
that's
who
actually
needs his
chained
pi-
in-
he needs the pills.
Yeah. The one that, for that episode.
Yep.
Yeah, there's some.
But we have multiple members of the Watchers Council then get killed by said,
vampire.
like he's
deservedly
the
so.
kind of dude who could totally like throw you over his shoulder, and not just you because you're wee, but like me who's twice your size.
Yeah. He's got that whole like the way Bane was supposed to be. It's that the original Bane was supposed to be that like gimp that like could just beat the fuck out of everybody, and then what the movie with Uma Thurman did to him was just awful, and it took talking like Sean Connery into a really bad microphone to save Bane's character.
But Tom Hardy.
But it's got the same, but that's what Bane, maskless, faceless,
Yeah.
and giant, looks like, there are some feels for characters like that.
Right.
In the loins.
So apparently,
And then-
Loins feels.
husband thinks that everything that's gone wrong in the DC cinematic universe could have been fixed if they had just watched Buffy.
Loins feels.
It's true. So if you watch Buffy as a young preteen teen woman and you had the feels for broody, dark angel or Angelus or even Spike, now you read smut.
Okay, so this question is only to you and not to husband at all. In episode or in season 1, right?
Mhm.
And I don't remember the episode name.
I'll
When
tell you.
he gives her the jacket,
Oh, that's Angel.
right?
Mhm.
And she's like giving him all this shit, and he's like, cold? No, you look cold, and puts the jacket on her. Like, to this day,
My panties get wet.
right?
Come on. How is that not hot?
He has
wanna
moments.
talk
He
to
has
you.
moments of adorableness, but for the most
That's
part,
not adorable.
That is just straight hot.
That
He
is
just
like
does this thing
restand level. Like those who like Akatar
Yeah.
were into Angel and Spike.
You like
One of-
Reese because you like Angel and Spike.
one of the
Yes.
problems with good broody angel is it looks like it hurts him because he looks that good. Like he's always in pain because he's just that high. He's just like, oh fuck.
Don't
this
make
doesn't
that
feel
face.
Don't-
good.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
And it's not he is in pain because his soul burns him. You see that when the orb lights up. Like it is like having a soul literally burns you from the inside. So he is hurting
the entire time, which is the whole point of why he has the soul. Because not only does his soul and his literal inner demon, are they constantly at war, but then you have that he now has feels about all of the bad shit he's done.
Yeah.
Okay. So while we're on the topic of Angel, I only have the primary 4 from seasons 1 through 3. Buffy's love interests. This is a woman who has shit taste in men.
I
Right?
agree with that.
Now, especially season 4, you've just gotten the taste of it.
I love me some Angel, but she is 16 when she meets this 200-plus-year-old dude.
Yeah.
And that is beyond age inappropriate.
Yeah.
Right? And then you get Owen.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Owen, for husband, if you don't remember, he's the one who ends up with her at the mortuary.
The episode Never Kill a Boy on the First Date.
Yeah, yeah.
He likes Emily Dickinson.
Mm-hmm. You get Scott. We are definitely pre-Posey.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Right? And
yeah.
this is an episode that bothers me because you have to deal with that whole relationship violence in high school, which is a real thing.
It is a real thing. But then at the end of the episode, you get Angel falling naked from the sky.
Yes.
Well, it's actually the episode before that because he is feral in Beauty and the Beast. But
it's interesting. My incredibly loving and wonderful husband, as he is, was watching Buffy without me.
Mm-hmm.
And paused it so specifically so I could see Naked Angel.
Oh.
And he goes, I stopped it here because I wanted you to be able to see this. If that's not love, I don't know what is. Right. So Owen Scott.
I mean, he's not a bad looking man either. Like
oh no,
even
he's
to this
super
day,
hot.
He is from Philadelphia, which is upsetting, but we can move past that.
He can't be perfect.
If he falls from the sky naked, it's fine.
Absolutely.
Then you get Ford. Ford was her friend from her previous high school.
Oh, that jabron.
Who was part of the vampire cult.
Yeah, that Jim.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we have Owen, we have Scott, we have Ford, and we have Angel.
Yeah.
This is her high school, love grouping.
It hasn't gotten much better. Started college, but
you haven't touched the surface yet, sir. Angel is the best, if this is what we're getting at.
No, obviously Angel is the best.
I mean,
but Owen, Scott, and Ford.
I've talked
Fuck,
a lot
marry,
of shit
kill.
about Angel.
Oh, no. Well,
this is 100% for you on that.
Nope, it's not. It's for both of you.
I don't remember about any of those guys.
Fuck, marry, kill. Owen, once likes Emily Dickinson, is quiet in the corner until he gets to see her fighting vampires and then wants to go out the next night to have another near-death experience.
I think you have to kill him.
Kill him? Honey, fuck, marry, or kill.
She's probably got to fuck him.
Okay. Mark fucks Owen. Soulless Wonder kills Owen. Scott. This is the I didn't invite you to homecoming dance because I didn't know if I had to. I know my friend brought his girlfriend flowers, but I'm not going to bring you flowers because I don't understand where we are in our relationship.
But he brings her Jell-O.
He does.
So Mary.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to say Mary too, unfortunately. This sounds like the guy that she winds up with.
All right. And Ford. All that's left for you is to fuck him.
I mean, Brendan, whatever, is arguably quite hot, so why not?
All right, and all that's left for you to do is kill him.
Kill him.
All right.
I mean, he is already dying of like a brain tumor, so
Yeah.
if I marry him or fuck him, either way, like he's gonna die.
Well, if you fuck him, he'll at least go out happy.
Exactly.
And if you marry him, you'll get the life insurance.
Yeah,
See?
there's some more.
I have a stick.
I have.
I am
that.
the Dark Soulless one. Isn't it obvious?
Okay.
I
Now,
have another bat.
This is actually a moth, but
This is a very
that's Lavender Lexi.
she's named for the haunted housewife.
I named her after my favorite haunted
Yeah.
housewife, who is neither a wife nor in a house. But
that's
things are
okay.
haunted.
if it's haunted, it's fine.
I totally paraphrased that, and I'm sorry for not getting it completely right, but it's hard to work that exact phrase into a conversation. All right. The last thing I was going to discuss is Kendra v. Faith, but I feel like this episode has been going on for a wee bit of time.
About 2.5 hours.
No, only 2 hours and 10
Oh,
minutes.
yeah, that's right. That's about 2 hours. Yeah.
So I'm just going to say final thoughts on Buffy the high school years. Let's start with husband.
How many times am I going to get poked in the final thoughts segment of this? Probably not very many. I really enjoyed it. I thought, there's always going to be things that you don't like. There's always going to be characters that you don't enjoy. That's part of television. That's one of the reasons why it exists, is because there are things. Friction is supposed to be something that is identified in media as the basic quantities are, an antagonist and a protagonist, and you're supposed to like somebody and you're not supposed to like another person, and that's what makes it watchable, right? So by me saying that there are characters that I don't enjoy doesn't mean I don't enjoy the product as a total, and sometimes those characters are necessary. We've talked about that with Buffy's mom. I really enjoyed it. I think Angel in that setting is perfect for that, and did a great job in that setting. The character himself wasn't my favorite part, but I understood why he was there. I understood why Buffy had the feels she did for him. I understand everything that happened that she did, with, getting back at him at times and doing all that. And then him not understanding it because he's 200 years out of dating, teenage girls. So like the whole thing makes sense. So don't misunderstand me talking shit about that particular character as taking shot at the actual character, at taking shot at the show, at the writing, anything else that's going on. It's just that in that moment, I just don't like him. I will continue to watch it, and I'm really enjoying parts of it. And then Angel came back, and I was like, oh, here he is again. We just got rid of him. But, it's just me just making a joke about it. Like, I don't take any of this stuff seriously. It's not real. It's just art. But
Wait, vampires aren't real.
They are. He's
They
not
are.
talking about vampires.
No.
He's talking about the show.
I'm talking about Buffy the Vampire Slayer as the television show.
Okay.
Yeah. But vampires are very real.
I know. I'm on the board of a local vampire group.
That's right. And I really enjoyed it. The things I didn't enjoy about it were the prosthetics were really bad.
1997.
Agreed, but there were shows that were contemporaries that toned it down and made things. I get that they were going for a more demony vampire. I get the whole thing, but it just is not good. Musically, not my favorite period of music. Just
Dingoes ate your baby.
that's probably the best part, honestly. Like there are parts and there's songs
He
that
likes
I
a
get.
little bit of dingo action.
Yeah, there are parts of 90s music that are so unmelodic and there's no rhythm to it. It's just all kind of just a blah of guitars. And it's just like, okay. And there's too much angst. And it's just like, so there's a lot of that. And that's fine. It's in one of my favorite movies, All Over the Place, The Crow. It is my favorite movie. There's a lot of that in there.
1994.
Correct.
Oh.
But the 90s is not my favorite genre of music. So I have a little bit of, but I just go, oh, the 90s, and I get over it, and it's fine. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. Definitely did not, at the time I didn't miss it, but going back and I'm seeing some things from my high school that I'm going like, okay, I remember that. I remember that. And that kind of stuff. So it's been fun kind of reminiscing, 25 years after high school at this point. Which is I think we're about where I'm at. It'll be 25 years next year. So it's just been fun to reminisce about that kind of stuff. And I really enjoyed it and will continue to watch it at some later date. Honestly, the Thanksgiving Day episode kind of broke me, so I just need a little time to recover from that one.
Literally, the best episode of season 4 is next. It's hush. Okay, they know it's hush. I was just excited to be here because I got to poke someone with a stick.
We were so glad to have you.
So the first time I saw Buffy was actually Faith, Trick, and Hope Angel falling from the sky naked. So that's 1998. I was 13 years old, and I was like, oh, there's a hot, naked, sweaty man falling from the sky. What is this? And my mom read the It's Raining Men and Bodies Hit the Floor are the same song, just different perspectives.
We've had that discussion.
And my mom was like, oh, it's, PG-13, whatever. It's fine, you watch it. So, I really sort of watched it from the beginning, and I continuously watch it every year, and there's not a part of my brain that isn't like, when someone says something, I'm like, that's in a Buffy episode. What episode is it? Can I get to that episode? How can I reference this episode? And people that don't watch Buffy, I'm like, oh, you're sad. You're missing out.
She means you, Andrew.
It's true. Watch it. Do it. But it really is like a huge part of my life. And I have multiple tattoos and jewelry from it. And I will continue to watch it year after year. And Sarah Michelle Gellar is an icon and a goddess. And if she does come back as Buffy in the later years, okay, I'm here for it. But I think that although Joss Whedon is not the greatest of humans, what he created is the greatest of things, because what he sought out to do was take the blonde girl that runs up the stairs afraid of a monster and bring her back down the stairs to take out the monster. And I just think that that's important for any female.
I agree completely. I grew up watching Buffy as well. I remember when I was, in junior high, running home from the bus stop to watch Power Rangers and then changing the channel to then watch Buffy. Right? Like, that was my life. Original Power Rangers.
Which is reference. Buffy calls Kendra the Pink Ranger.
She does.
Yes. Right? So original Power Rangers and Buffy, that was like run home from the bus stop to watch.
Yep.
Right? I'm pretty sure that if my mother had ever paid attention to Buffy as I was watching it as a child, I wouldn't have been allowed to watch it. But I was fortunate that she didn't, and I was. I will never stop loving Buffy. Sarah Michelle Gellar will always be an icon. We didn't get into the Scooby Gang.
Oh, no.
Okay, real quick. For me, this is my rundown. Okay.
I'll let you both do it, and then I'll skip me because I know you guys both have thoughts on this, but
Okay.
we've already gone.
Obviously,
a ways.
Sarah Michelle Gellar is Daphne,
Yes.
right? Because then later she plays
'Cause
Daphne,
she is Daphne.
obviously.
That's
right?
natural.
And she's hot and she's smart and she's talented, so she's Daphne.
And Willow is Velma.
Wilma is Velma.
100%
Right?
makes sense.
Oz gets to be Scooby, right?
Love it.
Because
Yes.
he's the
Because
dog,
he's a dog. Yeah, that makes sense.
right?
Okay,
Right?
I'm with it.
Xander is Fred. He's pointless, he's useless, but he can drive the van.
And he probably looks good in an ascot.
Probably. Cordelia is Scrappy Doo,
Oh my god. She is Scrappy.
right? Cordelia
She comes
is
in
Scrappy
in a
Doo,
pinch.
right? And is also irritating as fuck, but sometimes you need her.
Right. And
So-
he's kind of cute.
Ein Minuten Herbitter. Are we calling for Cordelia to come back and be the bad guy in the new Buffy?
No.
Because
Because-
that's the Scrappy Doo arc.
And I appreciate that you're saying that from the TV show
Yeah.
or the movies and whatever. But if you watch Angel, you'll understand why Cordelia has completely surpassed that. We're just sticking strictly with
Okay.
Cordelia
Yes.
during Buffy.
Yes.
Okay.
And during Buffy, Cordelia is Scrappy Doo.
Yes.
And on that note, thank you guys so much for joining us. I know that tonight's show ran a little bit long, but we're so glad that you came here. Husband is currently watching Supernatural. We will have the Tiny Soulless Wonder back to discuss Supernatural. We will
With the
be
new
doing,
stick.
well, same stick, but better
Yes.
and more decorated.
And more stabby.
We have many other fabulous themed shows scheduled and planned. So please join us. If you have any ideas of thoughts about shows that we should watch or cover, movies, games, plays, video games, anything like that, let us know. We also do a series on album reviews. We have done 2 so far. One was a reggae album. The other was 70s rock. So please come back, join us. We are the nerds that know. And if we don't know, we'll find out. Follow us on all of the socials. We are Nerds That Know on Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and I don't know, pick another social. I'm sure we're there as Nerds That Know. Thank you again to the Tiny Soulless Wonder and to the Stick. Husband, say goodbye.
We appreciate you guys, and I'm not going to say anything dumb tonight.
Too late.
Any more dumb stuff.
Thanks, guys. And now you're all getting to see my cleavage while I push the button.